That was so nice to hear, so refreshing. I also like that they gave me advice to drink Diet Coke, so I will take that anytime. Next, we get to introduce Jacquelyn Melinek, who is going to have a great conversation with Robinhood, and she's with Token Relations, so let's give it up for them.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. We are not the SEC, but we are something so much better, a publicly traded company, Robinhood, that is also in the crypto space. Woo! I guess that's a shareholder in the crowd.
Probably an employee.
Yeah. But yes, I am Jacquelyn Melinek. I'm the founder and CEO of Token Relations, and I am honored to be sharing the stage with Johann. He is the Senior VP and General Manager of Robinhood Crypto.
Yep,
correct?
That's right.
Long title, I love it. We are here today to talk about Robinhood's new chain. I think it has surprised a lot of people by announcing it. It recently launched its testnet. What was kind of the impetus behind this? Obviously, it's been, kind of in the works for a while, but for you personally, what were you like, yeah, we need a chain now?
Yeah, you don't ask yourself the morning, like, you need a chain.
Exactly.
So for us, we wanted to build this tokenized stock product that we've been working on for a very long time. And so we were pretty excited about building it. And what we started to realize is that we had a lot of blockers on what we wanted to build, a lot of compliance system that we were had to set up for all the regulatory requirements that we have in different regions of the globe. So we kind of debated for a long time. We're like, okay, maybe we create our own L1, maybe we create just another chain, basically. And then we thought about, getting the security, getting the decentralization of ECM, and also getting the liquidity from all the EVM. So that's why we picked to do an L2 with Arbitrum. So yeah.
If we didn't have the regulatory climate that we have right now, would you guys have done this still or no?
Yeah, we we started to work on the chain a long time before even the new administration. So I definitely think it's easier for us to start launching some of these products. But if you think about when we launched Stock Token, it was in the EU because they already had the MiCA framework and the MiFID framework that we are able to use as well. And so a lot of the work was done thinking outside of the US. And so we are pretty excited about the idea of the Clarity Act and everything, because now we don't have to just exclude the US for all this cool product, we can also include them. And so I think that's pretty exciting for an American company.
Yeah, 100%. What has been the response so far from Robinhood's retail users, crypto native builders, and then the institutional side? There's three categories we have to go through. Yeah.
We'll try to go through them. We launched it last week in consensus in Hong Kong, so that was actually really fun to be there. And the response so far has been super good. So we have almost 1 million wallet created on the testnet. We had about 4.5 million transactions, 650K contracts. So, so far we're actually pretty impressed by the result, and it's been super fun to look at what people have been building, the developers. So, it's just the beginning. It's not even been a week, to be honest. And so it's really exciting. And we also have this hackathon that we announced. It's going to be in New York, London, Singapore, and other places. And we are going to give prize of $1 million. So, excited to see also what else is going to be built in that time.
What is being built right now out of the ones that you've seen so far?
We saw some NFTs. One that was actually pretty cool, that was creating like stock traders. We saw a perps DEX, we saw spot DEX, obviously. We saw people starting to use, we have some stock tokens on the platform, and so some people are starting to build things around it for yield and lending. So far it's been pretty fun.
What does this Robinhood chain really enable that Robinhood couldn't do before?
I think for us it was more like, can we do it at the pace we want and with the level of UI and UX that we want? One thing that we really care about is that anything that we launch needs to be very simple for people to use. We actually don't even want them to realize that there is a blockchain necessarily. So if you use our product in the EU, you buy a stock token, we don't ask you for gas fees, for chain, for private key, for all this stuff. Like, it's not necessary. And we even put a pill at the top saying like, hey, this is a crypto product, by the way, like you're not just buying a normal stock. And so that's the kind of stuff that we wanted to be able to do without having to always, negotiate with the chain builder and being like, hey, we need this thing, can you build it for us? Because otherwise we cannot launch the product that we want. And so having our own chain really gives us like that customized optionality.
And what would you really like to see built? Because there's a lot of general purpose chains out there, but I don't really think that's what Robinhood's going to be. It's going to be definitely financially aligned, right?
Yeah, we really want to do anything around finance. I think for me, what the job will be done when the entire Robinhood infra works on the chain, and we don't need to use all these old settlement systems that are kind of old school. And if you think about how it works, there is a lot of just technology that has not really evolved. And so I think for us, like, we will be really, really excited when, entire Robinhood can work on the chain. We can sell instantly. We can have 24/7 trading on every product that we have. You can get your own mortgage using your crypto and stocks and all these things without having to go to a bank and have like a very lengthy process. That's really when the win will happen.
Do you see this kind of being the future of exchanges and then like financial apps as well, where they do have this like 24/7 trading, they have all this optionality that Robinhood is getting, or is this going to be unique to you guys?
Usually when we do something, a lot of competitors try to do it. And I think, it's part of the fun. Like, we all try to do something with a different angle, and one of us succeeds, multiple of us succeed, I don't know. But I think what's going to happen is the same thing with stablecoin. Like you have like, I don't know, 50 stablecoin at this point that are like more than a few hundred million market cap. And so it's going to be our role to actually create this abstraction layer where you can use any stablecoin. We don't care. You can deposit whatever you want to use. You can get out with whatever USDC, USDG, whatever. But we take away the complexity. And I think it's going to be the same thing for the chain. Everyone is kind of creating their chain right now. We're not the only one. Tempo, Arc, all this stuff. And so at some point, we don't want the people to have to focus on, wait, I want to transfer from this platform to this platform. So do I use Arc or Solana or whatever? We just want you to be able to do it, and we'll take away that complexity.
When you think about positioning Robinhood today, is it really towards more of a mainstream trader audience, or are you really trying to get into like the crypto sphere? Because for most chains out there, they cater to crypto native audiences, whereas your user base is not, for the most part, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I got excited to join Robinhood. The idea, we have 26 million plus customers, the idea that all these customers can go on chain, the idea that we can keep expanding internationally and bring more and more people on chain, that's what excites me. No offense, but the group of crypto, I used to be one of them, so I used to...
You are a crypto person, what are you talking about?
I know, but like we used to be like, the conference are so much bigger these days, and it used to be like 10 years ago, it was like, we would meet at a coffee, and we'll be like, hey, how do we build a chain? And so, this idea that we are just going to cater for crypto folks, I think is just not what we are trying to do, but more trying to bring the advantage of using the blockchain technology to everyone. And we can pass the savings to the customer. We can actually improve the products to the customer. And based on that, we will get more people excited.
Yeah. Okay, so there's 26 million Robinhood users. And you said there's 1 million wallets in testnet right now. And I know I could create multiple wallets, but let's just say for simplicity that it is 1 million different wallets. So 1 million different users. Do you think all of those people are Robinhood users, or they're crypto people that want to get into Robinhood's chain, or it's a mix?
I think it's a mix. Let's be honest. I think a lot of our customers, they just use crypto when they can, but they don't necessarily want to build on the chain. So now we have more like developers that are building. And I'm sure some of these developers don't use Robinhood because they prefer other platforms. And so, for us, it's our goal to really start building the features that are missing to attract these people. And that's what we've done like all last year. We've done a lot of products where you can now basically trade for as low as 3 basis points based on your volume on Robinhood, and that's something that, before you could not do. And I think that's really the type of features that we were missing for a while to get the more advanced traders. But I think for people that are building on the chain, the idea that you will get a distribution of Robinhood, like if the feature is really good or if it's something that we can integrate within our main app, the idea that you can get 26 million using it is pretty exciting. So I understand why, some people are building.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to ask you kind of like a bit of a spicy question, because there's a certain other exchange out there that also has a chain, and I don't think they fully executed well funneling their users to said chain. How do you think about funneling the Robinhood users to use this chain?
I have no idea which company you're talking about. No,
It's like they're here, so I'm going to play nice.
Well, I think what was interesting is how they built in public and how they took the feedback and pivoted away from whatever they were trying to do before. And so I think that's something that is actually pretty exciting. We actually love to do that as well. So a lot of the products that we launch, we test it, we go talk to customers, we see how they react. We try to change the UI, UX to make sure that they understand what's going on. And so I think, overall, I'm not trying to say like we're going to do better or not. I think for us, we are maybe a bit more focused on this financial system that I was talking about, and how do we kind of power Robinhood, and on top of that, power new applications that are going to use the system that we built. But I think for us, it's going to be this deep integration within our main application, or Robinhood Wallet, that is kind of a self-custody wallet, and all the apps that we have across the globe. And all the products that we're building are going to kind of use the chain in the background.
Wait, so how will it show up within the actual app? Like, people will know they're using the chain and the wallet and all these things, or will it be like abstracted away and it'll just feel like another part of Robinhood?
I think you will see, but I think we'll try to abstract as much as possible. I think for us that's really key. As soon as you talk to someone in your family and you're like, hey, you should lend your dollars to get yield, and as soon as you start talking about, hey, create your wallet and create a private key and blockchain, most people are scared away. So for us, the goal is to bring the right education tools so that you understand what's happening. But we're not going to make it a requirements before you can interact with the product.
Okay. My last major question on the chain front, and then we'll talk about tokenization, is when you think about, well, you guys already did, does launching a chain kind of change the way you think about revenue long term?
No, I think for us, revenue is, we have 11 different business lines at Robinhood that are generating like 9 figures more. And crypto obviously is close to $1 billion in revenue for last year. So for us, we always want to plant new seeds and new business lines that are going to take time to evolve and generate revenue. And the chain is one of them. So, for us right now, revenue is definitely not the priority. It's more adoption and seeing what people build. How do we encourage them to build more? All these kind of things, but not revenue.
Okay. Yeah. Revenue is not a big priority in this industry.
Well, I wouldn't say that necessarily, but
I'm making a joke. Okay. You've talked about tokenization as a major opportunity in the past. So has your CEO, Vlad. What assets do you think are the most realistic for major adoption in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, we are doing a lot of work on private equity, as everybody knows. We've done some work last year around giveaways, and we want to do a lot more around that. We think private equity is still one of the biggest kind of inequalities that exist today. So, in the US, you need to be an accredited investor, you need to have access. It's really hard to get access in general, even if you're a famous LP or a famous billionaire, it's going to take like some work. And so we want to solve that. And we also think the tokenization engine that we build can work for any type of asset, including real estate, including art. So, more to come on that, but we definitely don't think public stock is the only thing we want to tokenize.
What about on the front of like private markets, funds, equities?
Yeah, I mean, funds is maybe something that we are a little less on top of it right now, because there's just so many layers of fees and complexity around it. So working with the right people to create the right fund structure, it's definitely something we want to do. Tokenizing existing fund that you can get anywhere else, we are a bit less into it right now.
I also want to talk about the acquisition of Bitstamp. How does that kind of play into the institutional infrastructure and the strategy that we're discussing on the front of tokenization and then the chain as well? And does it all kind of like wrap in together?
Yeah, so Bitstamp is also going to use the chain. Bitstamp is also kind of sharing a lot of the system that we have on Robinhood. So all the advanced features that we've been building around like smart exchange routing, being able to trade from the charts, being able to use AI to get recommendation and all these things. That's using a lot of Bitstamp tooling behind. And so our goal is to kind of create these two separate systems that are also talking to it quite a bit. And the chain, yeah, will power kind of everything.
And from a regional standpoint, obviously we are in Denver, you were in Hong Kong last week. Do you think the US is positioned to kind of lead on this front of tokenization and capital markets on chain?
I think so. I think, we were pretty slow to start, and we had a little speed bump in the past few years, but I think now we are back on track. I think as soon as we can get the Clarity Act unlocked on the Hill, we'll be able to kind of move forwards. And you heard the chairman right before talking about tokenized securities and all the effort that they are trying to do on it. So definitely think that the US can come back and be like the capital of crypto again.
Last question, Johann. If this all pans out the way you envision, what will Robinhood look like in the next 3 to 5 years?
I think we will stop talking about Robinhood brokerage and Robinhood crypto, and the things will be a lot more mixed, which is really what we are expecting, that we will be able to power a lot more of the infrastructure using our chain.
Or is it a super app then?
Definitely a super app. We're already a super app. Come on.
Okay. All right. There we go. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, and thank you to everyone for listening in.
Thank you.